Topic: How important are dates? In the past, historians were very focused on dates. There were many arguments about when kings were crowned or when battles happened. Many people think history is just about remembering dates, and they find it boring. Is history just about dates? No. History is not only about memorizing dates. History is about changes over time. It helps us understand how things were in the past and how they have changed now. We understand the past by comparing it with the present and using words like before and after. We often forget to question the past. In our daily lives, we often don't think about the history behind things we see around us. We think things have always been the way they are now. Curiosity leads to history. When we are curious, we ask questions that are actually historical. For example, watching someone drink tea may make you wonder, when did people start drinking tea or coffee? Seeing a train may make you ask, when were railways built? How did people travel before trains? Reading a newspaper may make you wonder, how did people learn about news before newspapers existed? History and time. All historical questions are connected to time. But we don't always need to know the exact year or month. Many changes happen slowly over a period, not on one specific day. Example: people in India didn't start drinking tea suddenly, it happened gradually. Why dates aren't always fixed. Some events, like the start of British rule or the national movement, didn't happen on one exact date. These are long-term processes, so we talk about them in terms of time periods, not specific dates. Why we still use dates in history? In the past, history focused on important people and big events like battles, kings, and rulers. Historians recorded dates like when a king was crowned, when he married, when he died or fought a war. For such events, exact dates were easy to record and became important. Modern history studies more than just dates. Today, historians write about many other topics, not just kings and wars. They study how people lived and earned money, what they ate and produced, how cities and markets grew, how kingdoms formed, ideas spread, and societies changed. Summary of how important are dates. This topic explains that history is not just about remembering dates. It is about understanding how things have changed over time. While earlier historians focused on kings, battles, and exact dates, modern historians study everyday life, like how people lived, worked, and how societies developed. Some events happen gradually, so it's not always possible to fix a specific date. Instead, we look at the period of change. Dates are still useful, but they are only a part of understanding history. Topic: Which dates? Importance of dates depends on what we study. Dates are not important on their own. They become important when we focus on specific events or topics. If we change what we study, then different dates become important. Example of British histories. British historians focused on governor-generals in India. They recorded events by linking them to the rule of people like Warren Hastings, first Governor-General, to Lord Mountbatten, last Viceroy. Each chapter focused on what these leaders did, their policies, activities, and achievements. Problem with this approach. This way of writing history only shows the story of the British rulers. It leaves out the Indians and other important parts of history like common people's lives. All dates and events are linked to British personalities, ignoring local experiences. Need for a new way to write history. History should not only be about rulers or officials. To understand Indian society, we need a different format that focuses on people's daily lives, different groups and classes, social and economic activities. If we change our focus, the old dates lose importance and new dates become more important. Short summary of which dates. This section explains that dates in history are only important based on what events we choose to focus on. British historians highlighted dates related to the rule of governor-generals and viceroys, ignoring the lives of common people. Their history centered on British officials and their actions. To understand Indian society better, We need a new way of writing history that includes the experiences of different groups in everyday life. When our focus changes, the important dates also change. Topic: How do we periodize? James Mill, a Scottish economist and political philosopher, wrote a book called A History of British India in 1817. Mill divided Indian history into three periods: Hindu, Muslim, and British. This classification became widely accepted but had problems. It was based on religion. It ignored the lives of ordinary people and their activities. Mill believed that before British rule, Indian society was backward. He thought Indians were ruled by despots, harsh rulers. He claimed Indian society was full of religious intolerance and superstitions. Mill felt that British rule would civilize India and bring progress. This idea showed that the British believed they were superior and that Indians needed their help. Historians today disagree with Mill's view. Modern Indian history is now divided into ancient, medieval, and modern periods, based on social and economic changes, not just rulers or religion. This division too has its problems. This was copied from the West, where the modern period was linked with science, reason, democracy, liberty and equality. Medieval was a term used to describe a society where these features of modern society did not exist. Some historians call British rule the colonial period, where Indians did not have freedom, equality, or rights. It was not truly a period of progress for Indians. Short summary: James Mill divided Indian history into Hindu, Muslim, and British periods, claiming British rule was a time of progress, while earlier times were backward. He believed British rule was necessary to civilize India. However, modern historians reject this view and now divide history based on real social and economic changes. They recognize that British rule was not truly progressive for Indians and call it the colonial period. Topic: What is colonial? The British came to India, conquered the land, and took control over the economy and society. They removed local rulers, like Nawabs and Rajas, and established their own rule. British rule changed the way revenue, money, was collected and how goods were bought and sold. Indian farmers were forced to produce crops for British needs at low prices. These changes were not just political, but also economic, social, and cultural. When one country rules over another and brings such changes, it is called colonization. This entire process is called colonialism. Different groups and classes in society experience these changes differently. That is why the book is titled, Our Pasts, plural, because there were many experiences, not just one. Short summary: What is colonial? This section explains how the British came to rule India by conquering land and removing local rulers. They changed the economy, society, and culture to benefit themselves. Farmers were forced to grow crops for export at low prices. Such control and changes by one country over another is called colonialism. Different people experience these changes in different ways, which is why the book is called, Our Pasts, in plural. Topic: How do we know? Administration produces records. Official records of the British administration are a key source for knowing Indian history over the last 250 years. The British believed in writing everything down: plans, policies, decisions, agreements, and investigations, so it could be properly discussed and reviewed. This belief created a culture of writing memos, notes, and reports. All important documents and letters were preserved carefully in record rooms in every administrative office. Special places like archives and museums were set up to store and protect these records. Letters and memos sent between different departments can still be found and read today. Historians use these documents, like notes, reports, and orders from officers, to study the past. In the early 1800s, calligraphists, people skilled in handwriting, would beautifully copy all important documents. By the mid-1800s, printing became common, and many copies of these records were printed and stored in every government department. These records help historians understand how the British ruled India and how decisions were made. Short summary: The British kept detailed written records of everything during their rule in India. They believed writing was important for proper administration. Important documents like plans, letters, and reports were carefully stored in record rooms and archives. In the early 1800s, these were handwritten by experts, and later, they were printed. These records help historians learn about how the British governed India. Topic: Surveys become important. The British believed that a country must be properly studied and known before it could be ruled effectively. From the early 19th century, they started detailed surveys to map the entire country. In villages, revenue surveys were carried out to understand land and tax details. These surveys collected information about land topography, shape and features of the land, soil quality, plants, flora, and animals, fauna, local history and cropping patterns, what crops were grown and how. From the late 19th century, census operations were conducted every 10 years to count the population. The census recorded number of people in each area, castes, religions, and occupations. Other surveys included botanical, plants, zoological, animals, archaeological, old remains, anthropological, human societies, forest surveys. These surveys helped the British understand India better so they could control it more efficiently. Short summary: the British did many surveys to understand India better and rule it effectively. They mapped the country, studied land, crops, animals, and people. They also started the census to count the population every 10 years and collected details about caste, religion, and jobs. Many other surveys like forest, plant, animal, and archaeological studies were also done. Topic: What official records do not tell? 1. British records show only one side. Official records mostly contain information written by British officials. These records show what the British thought, planned, and did, but not what Indians experienced. 2. Lives of common people are missing. The documents don't tell us about the everyday lives of ordinary Indians. The struggles, feelings, and views of farmers, workers, women, and other local people are not included. 3. History must include many voices. To truly understand the past, we must look beyond government records. We need to study diaries of people, accounts by travelers, popular folk tales, songs and oral stories, autobiographies and personal writings. 4. Oral history and personal sources help. Stories passed down through generations and personal experiences help us understand how different people experienced British rule. These sources give a fuller and more real picture of history. 5. Historians use different sources. Historians combine official records with people's memories and writings to get a better understanding of the past. This makes history more complete and balanced, showing both rulers and the ruled. Short summary: British official records only show what the rulers thought and did, but they do not tell us about the lives of common Indian people. To understand the full picture of history, we also need to look at personal writings, stories, folk tales, songs, and oral histories. These sources help us learn how ordinary people experienced British rule and give a more complete and balanced view of the past.